Good afternoon, folks. My name is David Sisk. I'm the director of our ESL programs, and I'm sorry, but I'm unable to be with you this afternoon. I'm currently in an administrative meeting, a mandatory administrative meeting, and I would much rather be with you. But the next best thing is I can make a really short video. For those of you that know I am long-winded, rest assured that this is only 15 minutes or less, because that is the limit of this video application. So let's get started. The updates I'm going to share with you today are the EdPlan updates and some Title III ELL updates. I'm going to toggle back and forth. I'm putting my email here, and I encourage you to write that down really quickly. And those of you that have telephones, or smartphones, tablets, laptops, you can email me during this presentation, after this presentation, if you have any questions, and I will try to respond to those as quickly as I can. Okay, so moving right along now. I just want to give you a little bit of a background, kind of the 30-second version of EdPlan. I'm using the word EdPlan this year instead of Easy LEP, mainly because that's the umbrella term that we use with all of the different EdPlan components, 504, EC, AG, RTI, and English language learners. And if you don't remember how to get to that, a really quick little primer with this. This is our main website right here. So when you go to the main page and you click on Staff Student Leaks, you get this drop down. You go here for EdPlan, and that's where it is located. Just to let you know. So again, I'm sorry. I hope that doesn't make you dizzy. There are three main data sources that work together with EdPlan. There is a component, a backdoor data component with the North Carolina Department of Public Instruction that provides LEP data. There's our district office, our English learner office, and I am the one who is administrating EdPlan for our EL office. Our IT department also works very closely with me. We have a couple programmers downstairs that work with me to, if we have an issue and we need to resolve it. And there's actually a third group of folks here that really help me out. Our EC department has a specialized process team that helps me out whenever any issues come up with EdPlan. And then the third party vendor, the vendor that actually owns EdPlan, is called PCG. And so all of these people on the periphery of this triangle, all these entities feed in to EdPlan. So anytime we make a change with EdPlan or we have to make a correction, there are simply a lot of moving pieces. And so it's not something where I can very easily switch something that will instantly apply a fix. Oftentimes I have to go back to the programmers at PCG, work with them to change something. So I know many of you are frustrated. I myself have been frequently frustrated with this process. However, I want you to know that we're working on any fixes, anything that comes up. We're working on it, but a lot of times these fixes don't happen quickly. So moving right along, the next part of this, I want to take you through a couple questions that we are getting. So the first question is, why aren't LEP subcodes showing up in the main search screen? And so if you take a look in EdPlan, I'm going to pull this back over now for a second. I'm going to go into EdPlan. I'm going to go, imagine that I've already logged in. I'm going to go to my student list. I'm just going to pick on, well actually let me just pull up a test student. Pull up a test student. And so you get all of these test students. And if you look, if I can actually drag this over, let me see if I can. I'm not sure if I can drag it over. Yes, but I've dragged it over here. You see that code right there? We used to have, you would have an LEP student 3, that's a current LEP student, and you would have a subcode beside that, A, B, C, or D. Those are not showing up right now. So I know that's an issue, and we are working with PCG to get that taken care of. Several schools have alerted me to this. I've already contacted the company, and they are working to fix this as we speak. So just want to let you know we are aware of that, and we're working on it. So why are some of my students, my EL students, still not showing up in my current LEP list? Once the ELL students are entered in a PowerSchool, they will show up in EdPlan in a week or less. Our Newcomer Center is entering those students as quickly as we can. Kindergarten students will not show up yet because we have not gotten their WAPT scores back from schools. Actually, today is the deadline. So by the end of this week, we will begin entering those scores for the kindergarten students. They should begin to show up in your rosters first quarter. Students who are in grades 1 through 12, we are entering those as quickly as we can. Once that child goes to your school, make sure your data manager has enrolled that child. Once that child is enrolled, our Newcomer Center will look in PowerSchool, find the child, and then enter in his or her WAPT scores. Once the child's WAPT scores are in, and if they indicate that the child is an English language learner, then they will show up in EdPlan. So just to let you know, that's the process to get those students, those new students, to show up in your list. So what do I do if I need to give my testing coordinator the review of accommodations form, but I can't make an LEP plan for an L student because they are not in EdPlan yet? Here's what you can do. Meet with your L committee, just like you would if the kid was in EdPlan. Decide on the child's L accommodations. Record, and you can handwrite this on the review of accommodations form, and provide to the testing coordinator that form, the review of accommodations form. When the child is then in EdPlan, you can add those accommodations. This is the link right here to the testing students who are English language learners in North Carolina. I have already pulled up that link. I can show you how to get to it if you are interested. But this is what it will actually look like. And this document, this is the hard copy. It's available online. Again, there's the URL. Many of you already have this in your school. You've gotten this document before. This is what it looks like on the main page. Guidelines for testing students identified as English learners. It was published a month ago, but even in last year's version, you will still have this plan. And we will share this link with you, but your testing coordinator should also be aware of this document. If you go all the way to the end, I believe it's page 56, scroll down here. I'm watching my time so I don't take up too much time. There we go. It's Appendix A, and it is page 54, and that's where you can get the review of accommodations form. Okay, so I'm going to make you dizzy again. Sorry about that. Moving right along. EdPlan updates. Why do some students have duplicated scores in PowerSchool? Well, there was a severe cosmic storm a couple weeks ago that ejected a solar aurora that engulfed our planet a couple weeks ago and jolted the power grid and affected EdPlan. Obviously, I'm kidding. I just wanted to make sure you were paying attention. So the real answer, the serious answer with this, is a couple weeks ago, PCG, the third-party vendor, received 2 files from us. There was some confusion on how to import this data, which resulted in some students having multiple scores. I have spoken with both our technologists. We had a meeting with the third-party vendor PCG last week. We have a plan to fix this issue. It's a little more complicated than we initially thought. So it may be several weeks before we can apply the fix. All students don't have duplicate scores, but if you do not know what the scores are, go to the cumulative folder and look at the hard copy of the 2016 Access scores. If you can't find the hard copy, you can email either Ann or myself, and we can verify the actual scores of that child. But please look in the cumulative folder first. There should be a hard copy in that cumulative folder. So a couple reminders. Do not use the ESL service agreement in EdPlan. We are also working to get that removed. And so what that looks like, pull this back over for just a second so you can see Ed Plan. Go back to a student. I'm going to find a test student. One of my test students. This is what it looks like. Go to the LEP process for this child. Do not use the ESL service agreement because now we're using the English Learner Support Selection document, and we're working again to have this removed, so don't use the ESL service agreement. There's no reason to use that right now, so I just want to make sure you're aware of that. And then a couple additional EL data updates. I will have some EdPlan professional development posting shortly. I'm just simply trying to confirm space that will allow us to have some open labs, so if you have questions you come in and talk to me. And we're also working with our PowerSchool folks to give ESL teachers and LEP coordinators PowerSchool access to all EL students in a school. I know my high school folks will be very happy about this. It's not a done deal yet. However, our data folks are now open to allowing us to do that. So it's going to make it easier to track this information. And we're still waiting to confirm all L coordinators. Okay. Okay, sorry about that, folks. I think there was a little glitch. You may not have noticed it, so if I repeat myself, it won't take long. So a couple additional L updates. I will have some EdPlan PD posting shortly. I'm trying to confirm space. I'm working with our PowerSchool folks to give ESL teachers and LEP coordinators access in PowerSchool to all L students. That's going to make it easier to track information. I'm still waiting to confirm all L coordinators before I do that. I know that's going to make our high school folks very happy. A couple Title III updates very quickly. The Every Student Succeeds Act takes the place of No Child Left Behind. So I've been sharing this with you for the last 6 months, but I just want to remind you of that. We will not receive any annual measurable achievement objectives this year. Those are our AMAOs, so we're not going to receive anything from the state telling us that what percentage of our students, our L students, actually showed growth on the access score, and what percentage of our students actually exited on the access. So just to let you know, we will not be receiving that information this year. Title III funding still exists for English learners. That's not going to go away, but there will be much more emphasis on English language proficiency growth for L students under the Every Student Succeeds Act. North Carolina, I met with the state leadership a couple weeks ago, and this is really a transition year with North Carolina and a lot of states trying to figure out how to meet the new English learner federal guidelines. So you're probably not gonna we're probably not gonna receive a lot of clarity on this year, but we should get some additional clarity going into the spring on some of those federal components. By my clock, I've now been speaking a little over 13 and a half minutes. You've got my information that I shared with you previously, my contact information, and I welcome you sending your emails to me. I know you're going to have questions. I'm sorry I can't answer those today. Unfortunately, I have a meeting that I have to attend. I appreciate your time, and I look forward to seeing you soon. Thanks so much, guys.